CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look at downtown Miami, a great end to the work week, almost time for the weekend. So how will our weather hold up? Let's get right to Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera. Hopefully good news.
Yeah, I think so. You know, for the most part, it's still going to be windy. So unless you're getting in the water, you're going to be just fine. A couple showers here and there. But I think the weekend in general looks good. You can see the camera bumping up and down. This has been the feature all week. Gusting still at this hour, anywhere from 20 to 25 miles an hour. And we've had some gust approaching 30 here down towards the Keys, and also with the wind come the showers. They'll be on and off, and we've been seeing that, but such little moisture available. These are very quick moving, and they don't produce much in the way of rainfall. It's just kind of a little light drizzle, and then we break out into some sunshine again. Still a few, again, moving through the upper Keys down towards Isla Morada and into the Key West area as well. On rain track, you'll be able to see that for the rest of the evening. Again, these are hard to time, but just in general, I don't think you're going to get too wet if you're stepping outside tonight. The conditions are going to be just fine here with mostly clear skies. There will be intermittent clouds, and some of those clouds will produce a quick little brief shower, but I don't think anything to be concerned about. And then heading into tomorrow, the pattern really doesn't change. That area of high pressure still bringing us gusty winds, still bringing us on and off passing showers, but rain coverage only about 10%, so we're looking good. Now, there is a little surge of moisture that's going to try to make it move in our direction here. That's going to be for Sunday and into Monday, and that'll increase our rain chances to about 30%, but not a huge deal. The bulk of the tropical moisture, and there will be tropical moisture southeast of us, is going to stay to the east, and then we're actually tracking a front for next week. Not going to cool us off, but it will reintroduce drier air back into the picture here. So we're looking pretty dry by the middle part of next week as we get into November here. There are the gusts continuing 20-30, and the rain showers that will be hit or miss and very quick moving as well. And there you see a little more concentration of the moisture coming in out of the southern part of Florida Straits here, and that will push in, and some of the showers that develop will be in a better environment to produce a little bit more rainfall than the ones that we've been dealing with last few days. Tammy has resurged. We are back with Tammy there near Bermuda, but it's moving actually away from Bermuda. And then we have this elongated area here that the National Hurricane Center is monitoring. This is going to be that tropical moisture I just showed you. That's going to be moving north, but it should stay north and east away from us. So I don't think that'll impact our daily weather heading into next week. As far as the temperatures for Sunday, same deal. We'll be back into the mid-80s, and the extended forecast through Halloween will have very warm temperatures, by the way, for trick-or-treaters. Temps in the mid and upper 80s, and we'll continue with that through Wednesday, Thursday, before a slight cool down by the end of next week.
Ivan, thank you. We are following new developments in a standoff. Police surrounded a Miami house for hours. They were trying to get a barricaded woman to come out. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor has the details.
Just before 2 p.m. on Friday, she turned herself in. This is according to investigators who said that 51-year-old Evelyn Fernandez resisted her arrest until the very last minute. Yes, and we will be hearing more about that. This whole thing happened in the area of 172nd Street Southwest and 142nd Court. Cops were called into this neighborhood before midnight on Thursday. We're going to hear now more from Assistant Director from Miami-Dade Police Department, who has more on the arrest of Evelyn Fernandez.
Yesterday afternoon at approximately 6:30 p.m., Miami-Dade uniformed officers responded to the area of 282nd Street and Southwest 167th Avenue. It was in response to a ShotSpotter as well as a 911 call. When units responded, they made contact with the victim, who advised that his ex-girlfriend, who was later identified as Evelyn Fernandez, had fired shots at him. He was in his vehicle at the time, and luckily he was not injured. There was damage to the vehicle. At that time, an investigation was initiated. Through investigative leads, we were able to respond to an area which we're standing here in the area of 174th Street and Southwest on 142nd Place around 11:43 last night. At that time, when officers responded to make contact with Ms. Fernandez, she barricaded herself in this residence and refused to come out and comply with the demands of the officers. uniform units at that time requested the assistance of our priority response team, our special response team, and our negotiators, who all responded to this area. And as you can see, a very active scene has been occurring since that time. We utilized all of our applicable tactics and negotiations to try to work with Ms. Fernandez to get her to come out of that residence safely. During the night, there were family members in the house, and they were able to leave that residence safely, leaving only Ms. Fernandez in that residence. During that time, there were moments when she appeared that she was going to be cooperative, and then she would not be cooperative, which is one of the reasons why we have been on this scene for so long.
Coming up at 5 p.m., we'll hear more about Evelyn Fernandez, who is a former police officer. This is not the first time that she has encountered with law enforcement. We will tell you when and why. That'll be at 5 and 6. In Southwest Miami-Dade, Yvonne Taylor, back to you.
Now to the manhunt for the suspect in the mass shooting in Maine. The FBI and police are intensifying their search for 40-year-old Robert Card. Police say he is armed and dangerous. Police are warning residents to shelter in place. CBS News Miami's Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
Come to the front door with nothing in your hand.
Heavily armed police are scouring the woods in southern Maine, and divers are searching the Androscoggin River. Part of their focus, a boat dock, where they found this car belonging to Robert Card, the suspect in Wednesday night's mass shooting in nearby Lewiston.
The river is a big piece of this. The car was located there. Evidence is located in the vehicle or right there along the shores of the Androscoggin River.
A law enforcement source tells CBS News the evidence includes a firearm that Card legally purchased. Law enforcement sources say he had access to numerous other guns, and they're tracing each shell casing found at the scenes. Police say Card opened fire inside a bowling alley and restaurant using a semi-automatic assault rifle with an extended magazine and a scope. Police say Card is armed and dangerous and have since expanded the order for families to lock themselves in their homes. That order now includes tens of thousands of people in this county and the county north of here. Last night, SWAT teams, K-9 units, and helicopters searched Card's hometown of Bowdoin, focusing on one home in particular. Law enforcement sources tell the Associated Press they found a suicide note and Card's cell phone. Some of the 18 victims have been identified. 13 were wounded, 3 critically.
Often these rounds will hit bone, shatter bone, and the bone itself becomes a missile or a projectile.
According to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been 567 mass shootings in the U.S. this year. Laura Haefele, CBS News, Lisbon, Maine.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Now to the Israel-Hamas war. Israel Defense Forces say it's expanding its ground operation tonight. As casualties in Gaza grow, the World Health Organization is now calling for $80 million in aid. CBS News Miami's Tina Kraus has the very latest from Tel Aviv.
Explosions punctuate the night sky along Israel's border with Gaza as an Israeli military spokesman promises an expanding ground operation Friday night. 2 U.S. officials tell CBS News that announcement appears to be a rolling start to the ground invasion. Israeli soldiers conducted a targeted raid in the southern Gaza Strip overnight, with Navy vessels and aircraft striking suspected Hamas military compounds. Come daylight, giant plumes of black smoke were seen over the Gaza skyline. Day 21 of this war, and the destruction seems endless. An Israeli airstrike hit a residential building Friday. This Palestinian woman said she was sitting with children drinking tea when it happened. An aid convoy from the International Committee of the Red Cross finally moved from Egypt through the Rafah crossing into Gaza.
We also have a team of specialists who are about to enter, including surgeons and other medical teams.
Nearly 3 weeks after the Hamas massacre, this Shabbat table set in Tel Aviv remains empty. Each of these seats represents one of the more than 200 people still held captive in Gaza.
I'm hoping that the hostages will come back. I hope very soon.
Volunteers handed out yellow ribbons expressing solidarity with the hostages. Israelis we spoke with say everyone feels the pain from the October 7th attack.
Everyone in Israel know people who knows people that are kidnapped or murder.
Nothing's going to stop this other than peace.
A peace that seems very far out of reach. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Now to the Fins on CBS Miami. The Dolphins back at Hard Rock Stadium this Sunday. Here's a preview of what we can expect.
Dolphins are starting the week off with a clean slate, getting ready to host the Patriots at Hard Rock Stadium. Goldie, you always want to have that bounce-back mentality when they had a game like they had against the Eagles. But the question now is, how do they do it against the Patriots team that just beat the Bills last week?
Yeah, it's a big matchup. You know, the Patriots are trying to save their season. They kind of did last week, that win over Buffalo. This isn't, you know, like when they lost to the Bills and they came home, they played the Giants in Carolina. You kind of got the feeling, hey, they're going to win these two games. This is a tough matchup. Right. And I'm very curious to see the two defenses, Bill Belichick and Vic Fangio, Samantha. They've been coordinating defense for like 5 decades now. And each team knows the inside and outs of the other team. It was a competitive game up in New England earlier this year, Sunday night. And it's a huge game for the Dolphins because the week after, they go to Germany to play the Kansas City Chiefs. So, you know, must win? Certainly not. It's only the middle of the season, but this is one you really want, and they're going to have to bounce back.
Well, I was going to say, it's week 8. How much weight does this kind of game hold, or is it just another week 8 game?
I think it holds more. Number one, it's in the division and in the conference. And number two, you know, that great 5-1 start, if you don't win it, suddenly becomes 5-3, and you're going to Germany to play Patrick Mahomes. So things, you know, could get a little dicey here before the bye week. And remember, last year the Dolphins were a streaky team. You know, won a few in a row, lost a few in a row. They don't want to fall into that pattern. So I think on Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium at 1 o'clock, I think it's bigger than a normal week 8 game.
We'll see if they can pull it off with a win this Sunday. That'll do it for us here at Miami Gardens. We'll throw it back to you guys.
And we have you covered for Sunday's game at Hard Rock Stadium. We get things started at 11 a.m. with the Coach Mike McDaniel Show. Then Dolphins Weekly Live at 11:30. Kickoff is at 1 right here on CBS Miami. Then join us for the 5th quarter on TV 33 right after the game. The power of CBS News and the CBS News Miami stream are always at your fingertips. We're on Pluto TV, and the best part, it's all free. Or find us on your favorite streaming device with the CBS News app, then click CBS News Miami. That's your Quick Cast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami.